Alright guys, hope you're all doing well, hope you're all keeping safe. A new leak is on the agenda for today's video. A Reddit post went up this morning from someone claiming to have heard some details about what Year 3 has to offer for a contact of theirs at Ubisoft Massive. Now, like all leaks, you must take this with a grain of salt because there's really no way of telling whether or not this information is true. And whilst we've received many leaks through Reddit posts that have come true before, I'm looking at you seasons 1 to 4 and the summit, there's been plenty that have not. The raid with the hunters and the fight on the bridge springs to mind. So now that's out of the way, drop a like down below and subscribe to stay up to date with all the videos. And let's see what's been leaked. Alright guys, so let's go over what has been leaked. Now, I've actually taken a screenshot of this and I'm doing it in this format because the original Reddit post, which I would have used instead, has actually been deleted. Now, that's probably one of two things. Either it's really accurate and so they've had to delete it as a result, or it's wildly inaccurate and they've had to delete it as a result. Not sure. It's up to you guys to speculate that in the comments down below. I believe it's probably because it's actually more accurate than not. And I'll probably do a follow-up video about why that is, but you're going to see why I think that as we go through this. Because as you guys already know, I do think there will be somewhat substantial for Year 3, and again I might do a future video on that as well, but I might talk about it in this one. I'm not sure yet. Let's just get into this. So as it says at the top, it says potential spoilers below. Story content similar to Warlords of New York, how we hunted down Kina and his rogue cell. We'll be hunting down Natalia Sokolova and a group of 5 or 4, number is tentative, elite Black Tusk kill squad, fancy word for lieutenants. It's going to take a similar approach as Warlords of New York and drop you into a new city not mentioned by leaker. So the new city thing, as you guys may have seen, I actually don't believe we're going to be getting a new city at all. I just don't think there's enough manpower there to do it. With that said, I could see us going back to the original map from the Division, going back to that New York map, with, you know, a new DLC basically, and reusing those assets with the same environment we get from the Division 2 there instead, rather than the snow. I think that's more possible. I mean, I don't know how these things work, I'm not a developer, but just on the surface, with no knowledge of that stuff, if they've still got those assets, then that would make more sense to me. I presume that would be a lot quicker to do, and that would make sense to me. If of course we are getting some sort of new area, we don't obviously know. In terms of Natalia Sokolova, makes sense. I actually did a little bit of reading up of the lore before this video, but I'm going to put that in a future video. But if we are getting a new target, it's probably going to be Natalia Sokolova. That makes sense based on all the lore that I've seen. And actually, the end of the season, kind of seasons 3 and season 4, kind of build it up to Natalia being someone of real importance, someone who is above Fei Lao. Because, and again, I'll have to go back over the lore, but my understanding is that Barden Schaefer recruited Fei Lao, and I think Natalia Sokolova is above Barden Schaefer. I think Natalia Sokolova may well be the head of the Black Tusk and also the Hunters. Yeah, we'll get into more of this, and that's something we're going to discuss in a future video. But mechanics, this might be bittersweet for some, but yes, the level cap will be raised to 50. So guys, I did put out a post this morning here on YouTube and on Twitter asking what you guys think about level 50 being raised from level 40 to level 50. I've not actually checked the results. On Twitter, it's more positive towards people going up to level 50. I've not checked the YouTube one yet. And again, that's going to be something I discuss in a future video. So there's that. So the gear you have collected till now will be obsolete, apart from exotics, as their blueprints will be dropped once per week post-launch of the content. So that's quite a specific part there. So what I find with a lot of leaks is that if they're not very specific, then generally for the most part it's not going to happen. With that said, there has been leaks before where they have been really specific, and even then it's not happened. But this is fairly specific, this part here. This new content will revamp the season's formula and add more events into the weekly track instead of repeating the similar events for 2 weeks. Events will overlap, however, to allow every player to participate until the end of the manhunt. These new seasons will have hunters as manhunt targets, with each giving a new backpack trophy and a mask. Why hunters? I won't spoil it for you guys. The seasons will activate once the players are done with the main campaign of the DLC story. And so this is what goes back to the whole Natalia being the prime target, the hunters being the kind of lieutenants or the manhunt targets leading up to Natalia. Natalia being the big bad boss. She's the person that's been running the whole kind of thing. So it's possible. It would actually kind of make sense, from at least from the lore that I've read. I'm not a lore guy, as you guys already know, but the lore that I read before I started making this video made sense. And I was reading through that lore and thinking, yeah, do you know what? This could be the story. This absolutely could be the story for year 3. We don't know. In terms of the events, obviously it says that it wouldn't be like how we've had it before, and actually they have overlapping events. I'm reading this like there'll be more events than what we've had for the last year. So there's that as well, and I'll talk about this at the end of the video. Items and loot, of course, there will be a plethora of new weapons, a minimum of 10 exotics at launch, more added with upcoming updates. So it's going to follow a same pattern as the season did kind of with year 2, which I think anyone who believes we're getting new content for year 3, that's more than just, here's a map or whatever, believes that we're going to be getting more seasons. I think that's pretty much a given at this point. Surprising addition, keeping every detail to a minimum, as we got Summit as a replayable mode for the Warlords of New York. We'll be getting 2 modes for this new update, a survival-esque mode and a PvP-focused mode, and then they've put best news so far, so they're... Yeah, I presume they're saying that for both the modes. Will it be free? No. You'll have to pay for the new DLC, but look on the bright side, at least we'll have much more content than last time. And then the disclaimer is I forwarded these leaks as received and kept some uncertain things to myself, raid, exotic loot changes, etc., to avoid causing too much stir in the community. I am neither an employee of Ubisoft nor I claim these leaks to be 100% true, but I can say one thing for sure, we're in for a wild ride for year 3 in the Division 2. So one thing you'll note at the bottom here, it says raid. I don't want to give away too much myself because I've heard stuff that I've not posted or even talked about. But raid, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so what I'm getting from this, guys, is that basically what this person is saying, that year 3 is going to have more content than we had in year 2 and year 1, basically. We're getting new modes, we're getting the level cap, we're getting more substantial seasons, possibly more loot, all that sort of stuff. Is that possible? Yes, it is. It's absolutely possible. I did want to do a future video on this, and I still might do. But in my opinion, and I've said this before, there is no way the developers of this game are going to wait 4 months, which is what we suspect the timeline is at this point, if not a bit longer, probably 5 months. There's no way they're going to wait 5 months to put out content that's just basically, the seasons we've just had with the same global events. They're not going to do that. And the reason they're not going to do that is because no one's going to play it. So there would be no point in putting dev resources into making that happen again if no one's going to play it. It's just not going to happen. Plus, Massive, they need money. They need this is, as much as some of you guys might not like it, this game just still makes money. And the game isn't dead. I mean, people put out videos now that still get 50,000 views plus. That's not a dead game. And people will buy a new DLC if it's got enough content in it. If it's got new game modes, and we're going back to the OG Division map, people are going to buy it, guys. It's just the way it is. Even if they don't want to, they're going to buy it because they don't want to miss out. So, in my opinion, for us to be getting more than what we've had for the last year, that would make sense. That would make sense to me. Now, there is obviously the time constraint. How long have they been working on this, etc. Now, from what I've seen from Trick Dempsey, from what I've seen on a previous post of his on Twitter, it sounds as though they might have been working on this before Christmas, maybe longer. And they're probably going to have up to at least June, July time before we get any new content. It probably will be a bit later than that. I suspect we'll be hearing more come around E3 of this year. And if you check out if you go onto the game now, you'll see that the season ends in like 14 weeks or something, which is kind of like May 31st, June 1st. And then we'll get E3, and I think that's where we're going to start to see what's coming. So this isn't unrealistic at all. I actually think this is very realistic. So this isn't a surprise to me at all. Now, in terms of the lore behind this, I'm going to do a future video on this, I think, because this does make sense. Us hunting down Natalia Sokolova makes sense. Us getting more into the hunters makes sense, because hunters hunters are going to sell this game as well, guys. If they come out and say, look guys, year 3 we're going back to the OG Division map, we're going to be having 2 new game modes, we're going to be going after hunters, people are going to play, guys. That's just the way it is. People are going to buy it, they're going to play. In terms of the 2 new game modes, PvP focused mode, I hope so. It could be Last Stand coming back. I hope there is more focus on PvP. A survival-esque mode, it's possible again. Now, they have said previously they're not doing survival, but they also said previously that Title Update 12 was meant to be the end, and that's still not happened. We are getting more. So, this is possible. And if you want to know what could potentially be killing us in that mode, well, it could be the Eclipse virus, for sure. So, guys, as I said, take this with a grain of salt, because we should always do that. But it's not unusual to receive leaks like this and it to be completely accurate. We've seen that before. With that said, it's possible this is all just not going to happen, and actually we are just getting this the same seasonal format we've had for the last year. But if you think about it logically, guys, it doesn't make sense for us to get 4 new seasons. People are not going to buy that. It's just not going to happen. It makes sense to have a DLC because Massive will need the money. They've got Star Wars and they've got Avatar. Neither are going to... Well, Star Wars probably ain't going to come out for at least another 3 years. 3 or 4 years, probably longer. Avatar's, 2 years? 2-3 years? They're not making any money and they need the resources. And unfortunately, the Division is there and it will make money for them. So, there you go, guys. Thanks very much for watching. Let me know what you think about this kind of stuff in the comments down below. Do you like the idea of having the DLC with seasons, but then the seasons being more substantial, us getting new replayable game modes? For me personally, I've said this before, if we can combine Division 1 and Division 2, then you're on for a winner. If we can get replayable game modes, but we can also get like the living open world from the Division 2, and we also get like the PvE mechanics from the Division 2, but we have PvP like the Division 1, then we're on for a winner, guys. And if that's what they're attempting to do here with Year 3, there's no reason why you shouldn't be excited. With that said, this could be completely all wrong and we could all be disappointed. So, there you go. Thanks very much for watching. Until the next one, guys. Epic out.